welcome to another episode of Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. Well, folks, you probably heard the new theme that I had for Codo Cinema. Well, it's a similar theme that I had for the past 3 years for Codo Cinema, but this one I updated it a little bit. Thought I'd give it a little change, give it a nice little digital rock and roll vibe to just to hype things up. You know what I'm saying, right? So anyway, we are here. We are back for another episode of Codo Cinema, and this time around, I'm going to do something different. I will be talking about a movie, but it's a movie that got canceled, but somehow it returned, right? Like a movie that suddenly got shelved, but somehow got pulled off the shelves. But this time, we'll get a theatrical release. And to anybody who is listening to this, will probably know, may or may not know, is that I'm going to talk about the Coyote versus Acme movie. That is right, folks. Coyote versus Acme was the film that got canceled, but somehow it's getting a theatrical release sometime in 2026. Now that's a big surprise right there. Now, just to give in some background on this movie, Coyote vs. Acme is an upcoming American live-action animated legal comedy film directed by Dave Green with a screenplay by Sonny Birch from a story by Birch with Jeremy Slater and James Gunn also providing the story. Now, this film is based on the 1990 New Yorker magazine article of the same name, Coyote vs. Acme, by Ian Fraser, which itself is based on the cartoon character of Wile E. Coyote and the Acme Corporation from the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies series of cartoons. The film's cast includes John Cena, Will Forte, Lana Condor, P.J. Byrne, Tone Bell, Martha Kelly, and the voice of Eric Balza. Now, the development for this film began in August of 2018 with Chris McKay as producer and John and Josh Silberman writing the screenplay. However, Green was hired to direct in December of 2019, and Birch and Slater and of course James Gunn joined the following year. John Cena, Will Forte, and Lana Condor were cast in early 2022, with live-action filming took place in New Mexico from March to May of 2022. Now, also to mention this too, James Gunn also serves as the producer of this movie alongside Chris DeFaria. The film was originally going to the original release date for Coyote vs. Acme. It was going to come out in November of 2020. It was going to come out, I want to say, sometime in 2023, which I believe that was the original release date. Yes, it is that year, 2023. That was the original release date, but unfortunately, it was going to be released on July 21st of 2023. So to anybody's knowledge of summer of 2023, that was when the famous Barbenheimer cinematic universe came out, so to speak. You know, the whole Barbie and Oppenheimer movies that came out. Those movies made a lot of money. However, the Barbie movie, which came out in 2023, took over the release date of Coyote vs. Acme, which was July 21st, 2023. So what was the reason why Barbie took over that spot? Well, it turns out Warner Brothers Discovery shelved the film to obtain a tax write-off. So they did this to obtain a tax write-off. That was the reason why that movie got canceled. So Coyote vs. Acme was going to be released on July 21st of 2023, but unfortunately, with Warner Bros. Discovery canceling it due to a tax write-off, the Barbie movie took its place. However, that decision was later reversed and allowed the filmmakers to seek other distributors following public backlash. After several unsuccessful negotiations with various distributors, Ketchup Entertainment acquired the rights in March of 2025 after previously doing so with Warner Brothers Animation's The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Now, Coyote vs. Acme is set to be released in 2026. So at the very least, there's a silver lining right there. However, I am going to break down the whole production of this movie just to let you all know. Now, plot of the movie: after every product made by the Acme Corporation has backfired on Wile E. Coyote in his pursuit of the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner is basically, the bird that Wile E. Coyote chases after. You know what I'm saying, right? The Roadrunner is basically, a long-legged bird in the cuckoo family. That Roadrunner bird that goes meep meep in the Looney Tunes cartoon, right? Meep meep. Yep, that's him. All right, that's him. Wile E. Coyote always goes after Roadrunner. I mean, obviously enough, those shorts were hilarious. Those shorts are hilarious to this day. Like, come on, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. I mean, you can't deny those two. Like, Roadrunner always gets away from Wile E. Coyote, and Wile E. Coyote always gets crushed by all of these Acme products that try to stop Roadrunner, right? Meep meep. But anyway, so down and out Billboard human attorney Kevin Avery represents Wile E. Coyote in a lawsuit against Acme. A growing friendship between Wile E. Coyote and Kevin motivates their determination to win the court case, as it pits them against Buddy Crane, the intimidating boss of Kevin's former law firm, who now represents Acme. That's actually a pretty interesting plot. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, this film was shelved, right? And now this film has returned. So this is the return of Coyote versus Acme, now being released, and it will soon be released sometime in 2026. So that's very interesting right there. What blows my mind is the fact that Warner Brothers really canceled this movie due to a tax write-off. Now, Warner Brothers. This is the same studio that canceled the Batgirl movie, which is another film that I talked about way back. I actually did an episode of that 3 years ago, where I talked about the Batgirl movie being canceled. Now, of course, I didn't realize about this movie until I think it was until 2023 when I heard about its cancellation. But unfortunately, I never got into this movie until this year, right? Because this year is the first time hearing that this movie it will finally get a release date, but with Ketchup Entertainment. So unfortunately, the whole cancellation debacle is going to catch up to Warner Brothers now, huh? Well, to say this in an Elmer Fudd impression, screwy Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers knew they screwed up on this one because they did this to get a tax write-off. So I guess they did this just to get money. Yeah, Warner Brothers really got real greedy just by canceling this movie for a tax write-off. So anyway, I will get to more of that soon, but let me dive into the production of this movie. Now, of course, this was announced in August 2018, where Warner Brothers Pictures announced the development of a Wile E. Coyote movie titled Coyote vs. Acme, with the Lego Batman movie director Chris McKay as producer, and John and Josh Silberman writing the script. In mid-December 2019, Warner Animation Group hired Dave Green to direct the live-action animated hybrid film, while Josh and John Silberman were replaced as screenwriters but remained producers. In December of 2020, however, McKay left the project, while John and Josh Silberman left their producing roles and returned to screenwriting duties alongside with Sammy Birch, Jeremy Slater, and James Gunn. James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, plus the 2021 Suicide Squad movie, And he's also set to release the new Superman movie, which is set to come out this summer. This is, of course, goes along with the departure of McKay, and was reported that the film draws inspiration from the fictional 1990 New Yorker article of the same name by Ian Fraser. Ultimately, Birch received screenplay credit based on a story from herself, Slater, and Gunn. Gunn, alongside Tom and Jerry producer Chris DeFaria, also received final credit as producers on the film. Gunn, under his production banner, Two Monkeys, a Goat, and Another Dead Monkey, and that's the name of his production banner right there. So Gunn and his production company are involved with this movie. But later on down the line, in November of 2022, we got Looney Tune characters such as Foghorn Leghorn, Granny, Sylvester the Cat, and Tweety Bird were confirmed to be in the film. And of course, in December of 2022, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, and Yosemite Sam were also confirmed to be in the film. In January 2023, Porky Pig was also confirmed to be in the film as well. While editor Karsten Kerpanek described the film's story as a David versus Goliath story that tackles Wile E. Coyote's persistence in the face of the Acme Corporation's cynical and casual cruelness of capitalism and corporate greed. Now, going back to the characters, it's actually pretty nice to see some of the Looney Tune characters coming into this movie. Like, I know it says Coyote versus Acme, which obviously enough, the Wile E. Coyote is going to be in this movie, but you can't leave out the other Looney Tunes characters, to be quite honest. I mean, Bugs Bunny. You can't have a movie. Hey, Bugs Bunny's going to be in this, so why not?
What's up, Doc? I'm going to be in this movie. That's actually pretty cool, huh?
But to go off topic a little bit, like I've seen a lot of the Looney Tunes cartoons, most notably the older ones, from the classic era, when when Chuck Jones was involved with the Looney Tunes, right? And then I have seen three of the Looney Tunes movies that they have done, which is the Space Jam movie with Michael Jordan, the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie, and of course the Space Jam 2 movie, A New Legacy, that featured LeBron James. Now I'll say this right now. I have not seen the day the Earth blew up. I have not seen the day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie. I have not seen that, but I heard a lot of good things about that movie. But anyway, just to continue on, it's actually nice that we're going to see some Looney Tune characters in this movie. Like, maybe to paraphrase Foghorn Leghorn in some way. I said, we're going to be in this new Looney Tunes movie, Coyote versus Acme. Whoa, hey, it's back in action, baby. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure Bugs Bunny will be excited for that. But anyway, aside from the Looney Tunes, you also got John Cena in the role. Plus, he was cast as the film's main antagonist, described as the lawyer in defense of Acme and the former boss to Wile E. Coyote's lawyer, to which that's Will Forte's character in the movie, to which John Cena previously collaborated with James Gunn on the Suicide Squad movie and The Peacemaker, all set in the DC Extended Universe. And of course, Lana Condor is also set to appear in this movie as well. Now, principal photography took place from March to May of 2022 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with Brandon Trost serving as cinematographer. The creative team acknowledged Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a reference for the film's live-action interaction with animated characters. New Mexico Film Office Director Amber Dodson commented in a press release that the production would showcase our beautiful city as an already iconic location and setting in the Looney Tunes cartoons. The visual effects and computer animation was done by DNEG for Wile E. Coyote and other significant Looney Tunes characters. According to Green, the 3D animators worked closely with a team of 2D artists who guided them with drawn poses and expressions of the characters in order to find the building blocks of performances. Editor Karsten Kerpanik explained that the artists would do black and white line drawings of key poses over a rough edit first, which were later used as reference for visual effects and animation. This process was dubbed Sketchviz. This process was dubbed This process was dubbed Sketchviz by the crew, bearing similarities to one of Warner Animation Group's previous film, Tom and Jerry. Traditional animation services were also provided by Duncan Studio for a handful of shots with the significant Looney Tunes characters in the film and for certain Looney Tunes characters who were handled entirely in 2D. And of course, the music will be provided by Stephen Price, to which he composed the film's score and shared a choir rendition of the Roadrunners' vocal effects titled the Beep Beep Choir. Well, that's actually interesting right there. Meep meep. But anyway, there is a still frame shot that features Wile E. Coyote, including Will Forte and Lana Condor, and this is in the courtroom. It's in the courtroom, and the 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 whole still frame looks real good. And Wile E. Coyote, his appearance in 2D animation looks really good. Like, it is nice to see live action and animation back in full form. Like, I know it's not the first time. I know this is not. Now, of course, keep in mind, live action and animation has been done before. But I know in recent years there has been a lot of push on, CG animated movies. And that's not a bad thing. I don't find it's not a bad thing to see CG animated movies, using more like 3D CGI animation. But I really miss the traditional hand drawn 2D animation. I really missed it. I know and yes, I know animation nowadays is really expensive, especially 2D animation. I mean, I guess you could say 3D and CGI as well, but also seeing that back in full form for Coyote versus Acme is actually a real good thing. Like, I really miss 2D animation and hand drawn animation, and from that still frame shots with him, Will Forte, and Lana Condor, it looks real promising. However, this would lead into the cancellation of this movie, the initial cancellation of this movie. On November 9th, 2023, Warner Brothers officials announced that the film was completed, but they would not release it because Warner Brothers Discovery preferred to claim a tax loss or a tax write off of about $30 million. This would make it the third canceled film by Warner Brothers Discovery following Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Haunt. The crew was not informed of the decision until after the film was completed. The movie drew criticism from filmmakers, animation outlets, and talented representatives, with several filmmakers leaving angry phone calls with Warner Brothers expressing their frustration at the move. Others also canceled meetings with the studio. Many noted that the film had drawn praise at test screenings and interest from potential buyers. Director Dave Green voiced his disappointment over the film's cancellation, further emphasizing his love for the Looney Tunes and writing that we were all determined to honor the legacies of these historic characters and actually get them right. Now, this right there from Dave Green proved a very good point. Like, he and his crew members, along with all the other actors and crew members that you can all name off, like James Gunn, like maybe like James Gunn as well, really wanted to honor the legacies of these characters, right? Like, these Looney Tune characters really meant something, right? And Warner Brothers really canceled this movie for a tax loss after positive test screenings. Yes, there were huge praise from test screen audiences who have seen this movie and loved it. However, this movie will get released in 2026. I don't know how I feel about this movie. I mean, it looks real promising, so it may look good. But going back to the whole cancellation, like I can understand where Dave Green's coming from because he and his crew members, including all the actors who worked on this movie, were upset at the cancellation. And you know Warner Brothers screwed up when you and you know Warner Brothers really screwed up when several filmmakers left angry phone calls to the studio. And boy, yeah, yeah, that's not a good sign right there, folks. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Now, say what you will about Warner Brothers, like they have made some good films in the past years, but when it comes to decision making and studio interferences, Warner Brothers have really made some of the most dumbest decisions they have ever done. Like I remember that they have interfered so much on the DC extended universe, particularly with a lot of DCEU films like Batman vs Superman, the Justice League movie, and the 2016 Suicide Squad movie. Hell, while I'm at it, the 2023 Flash movie with Ezra Miller, right? In fact, this is the same studio that fired Johnny Depp, and they kept Amber Heard and Ezra Miller on board their DC films. And of course, they canceled the Coyote vs. Acme movie, and of course, the Scoob Holiday Haunt, and the Batgirl movie as well. Plus, their DC films, many of their DC films, before James Gunn stepped in to reboot to to create a new universe. Many of these movies have big budget. Many of these DC movies have big budgets, right? And and boy, really Warner Bros. Really shot themselves in the foot on this movie. Like Coyote versus Acme, it's not a big budget movie. Like the film's budget is $70 to $72 million. I mean that's a lot of money, but that's not a big budget movie. I mean it's not a big that's not a big budget movie. Like I mean the budget itself is almost at 100 million, but not quite. While their other DC movies are basically like between 100 million to $300 million budget movies, right? And the fact that Warner Bros. Canceled a low budget movie like that, whew, that's just rough. But thankfully, on November 13th, 2023, Warner Bros. Discovery leaders had reversed their decision and allowed the filmmakers to shop the film to other distributors. Why couldn't Warner Bros. Get the film back, right? Like, don't they own Looney Tunes? The Looney Tunes have been around since the 30s, right? The 1930s. So why couldn't they get the movie rights back? But unfortunately, they did this for a tax write-off. I guess that's the main reason why they couldn't get it back. Although they're still involved with this movie. Warner Brothers is still involved with this movie, but they're not the distributors anymore. So the filmmakers had to, shop the film to other distributors. Like Amazon, MGM, Apple Studios, Netflix. I mean, they were interested in buying the distribution rights to the film. However, there were no offers for that. In fact, Paramount Pictures and Sony Pictures were also on the board as well. And of course, Netflix and Paramount had made bids, with the latter including a theatrical component. Amazon was still interested despite making no formal bids, and Sony and Apple were not planning to make bids. So unfortunately, the Warner Bros. Discovery had rejected the bids from Netflix, Amazon, and Paramount, and the company wanted $75 to $80 million to sell the film, but no distributors met their price, and Warner Bros. Discovery rejected counter bids. See, this is what happens, Warner Brothers. This is what happens when you decide to do a tax write-off. This is what happens when you decide to have a good film get shelved just for a tax write-off. This is what happens. So the company considered shelving and deleting the film, which remained in limbo at the time, and again claiming it as a tax loss. Following their Q4 2023 earnings call on February 23rd of 2024, Warner Bros. Discovery took a $115 million write-down while not directly confirming the cancellation of the film. Wow. And on March 10th of 2024, during the red carpet for the 96 Academy Awards, Birch said conversations were still ongoing within Warner Bros. And that we hope it will somehow find its home and not end up stuck in a vault for the rest of the time. And in April of 2024, Warner Bros. Spokesperson told the New York Times that while the fate of the film is unclear, it remains available for acquisition. Now, of course, there was a huge response from a lot of people. Like, hashtags were going on saying hashtag release Coyote versus Acme and hashtag save Coyote versus Acme, along with other hashtags relating to it. Kind of similar to when the 2017 Justice League film came out, and it was not the and it didn't turn out that well. There were hashtags that says release the Snyder Cut. That's what Coyote versus Acme was going. That's what Coyote versus Acme was going through. Voice actor Eric Bauza addressed this in an improvised exchange between Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck during his speech at the 51st Annie Awards, with him saying in Daffy Duck's impression, "I hate to be political, but release Coyote versus Acme." I'm pretty sure Bugs Bunny would be like,
Yeah, I agree with that. Release Coyote versus Acme.
now, of course, other filmmakers such as Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, Michael Chaves and Daniel Scheinert also stepped in to send in responses as well. Lord called the film wonderful and moving, and lamented that Warner Brothers' move was anti-competitive, while Miller said he hoped several studios go after it, so the world can see all the good work people did. I actually agree with that. With writer-director Ben David Grabinski claimed it was the best of its kind since Who Framed Roger Rabbit, while filmmaker Brian Duffield, who gave notes on the film, compared it to the studio's own Barbie film, feeling that both play with iconography in a really fun popcorn kind of way. In an interview with Screen Rant on May 31st, 2024, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, directors of the canceled Batgirl film, revealed that they are both friends with Green and said, "I think that movies must be seen by the audience and the audience must judge them." Actually, that part I actually agree with, because when you go into a movie, kind of think about, will this movie be good or not? That's the feeling, that's the saying that Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi are saying, right? Like a few days ago, I went to see the Minecraft movie, which is another Warner Brothers project, and I didn't know if that movie was going to be bad or good, but I heard that film had some good moments, and I heard that film was promising because Minecraft has a huge fan base, especially those who grew up playing the games. While of course there are people today, some kids today, who are still playing the games of Minecraft, right? So I went to this movie, and while I'll say this, I'm not a big now I never played Minecraft, but I kind of got the overall idea of what the world is like a little bit. And boy, and I'll say this, the movie itself wasn't perfect, but I can understand the fan base I can understand the impact, the entire fan base. I can understand the impact this film had for the fans, right? But with this movie Coyote versus Acme, like the Looney Tunes are really popular, and there's like a huge fan base for that. So canceling Coyote versus Acme was a bad decision by Warner Brothers. So and having to see and really wanted, and I think, and movies must be seen by the audience and the audience must judge them. I gotta feel I believe that's a very good thing. That's a good way to, and I believe that's a good way to put it. Let audiences see the film first and judge it for themselves, and see what happens next. They may like the movie, they may not like the movie. I mean, that's the way. I believe that's how it should go. I believe that's how it should go. But of course, in February 2024, Forte released a public statement addressed to the cast and crew after seeing the final cut of the film, and I quote from him: "I know that a lot of you haven't gotten a chance to see our movie, and sadly, it's looking like you never will. When I first heard that our movie was getting deleted, I hadn't seen it yet, so I was thinking what everyone else must have been thinking. This thing must be a hunk of junk. But then I saw it, and it's incredible. Please know that all the years and years of hard work, dedication, and love that you put into this movie shows in every frame. That's all, folks." And he put it right there. That's what Will Forte put it right there. I mean, hey, put it there, Will Forte. Of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's all, folks. I'm pretty sure the Porky Pig will said it best on that last part.
That's all, folks.
However, in January of 2025, Condor revealed the film had a funeral screening when news of the initial cancellation was first broken. And in February, when asked if the film still had a chance to be released, Baza responded, "That is the question of the year, and it's only February. I'm going to say yes. If this movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie opening March 14th in theaters everywhere, gets a lot of money, then we might see Coyote vs. Acme. Stranger things have happened, and if we don't, I'm going to put that movie under everyone's seat as a DVD. No, I'm just kidding. I was kidding. David Zaslav, you didn't see that here. Ooh boy." Eric Baza is not playing around. He really wants that movie to be released, and I don't blame him. Oh boy. But thank goodness Ketchup Entertainment catch up to this movie. So on March 19th, 2025, Deadline reported that Ketchup Entertainment was in talks to acquire all rights to the film from Warner Bros. For approximately $50 million, following its acquisition of the North American distribution rights to The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. If negotiations prove to be successful, the film will be scheduled for theatrical release in 2026. And on March 31st, Deadline and Ketchup Entertainment confirmed that the sale had been closed, with a statement from Ketchup's CEO reading, "We're thrilled to have made a deal with Warner Bros. To bring this film to audiences worldwide. The film is a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern storytelling, capturing the essence of the beloved Looney Tunes characters while introducing them to a new generation. We believe it will resonate with both longtime fans and newcomers alike." And that's all, folks. Coyote vs. Acme has returned. The return of Coyote vs. Acme to theaters. So instead of Warner Brothers distributing the film, Ketchup Entertainment is going to do it. Ketchup Entertainment is going to distribute the film in 2026. Oh man, and that is a huge victory right there. Like Coyote, we are going to see Coyote vs. Acme in 2026. Now, like I said, I don't know how I feel about this movie, but after what I read, especially the test screenings and of course that still frame shot that they had, it looks real promising. It looks real promising. I hope it's good. I hope it's real good. And you know what? I'm up for that movie. I mean that tax. I mean, oof, man, that whole cancellation was rough. But you know what? Coyote versus Acme has returned with Ketchup Entertainment distributing the film. And that's pretty much it for this. And that's pretty much it for this movie right here. Like the whole history of Coyote versus Acme being canceled and brought back. Like it's a miracle that Ketchup Entertainment is going to distribute this movie. And you know what? I'm looking forward to this movie coming out in 2026. I wish it will come out in 2025, but you know what? I'm okay of waiting another year. I mean, they're probably still gonna finish things up. Probably finish the production of the movie. They're probably gonna finish post production of the movie. Give it time, and and of course be released in 2026 to theaters. I don't know when in 2026, but we'll have to find out Well, we'll have to find out later once it comes out sometime in 2026. And that's all, folks. There you have it. That is my take on the Coyote versus Acme movie. Basically, the history of this movie and its cancellation and return. So, anyway, what did you all think? So what did you all think? Are you all excited to see Coyote versus Acme in 2026? I would love to hear your thoughts. That'll be a wrap on this episode. Thank you all for tuning in to Codo Cinema. I'm your host Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. Remember to watch movies and stay positive.